Hi, and welcome back to our Dreamweaver tutorial. In this video, we're going to begin working on the banner area of our website. And in our project at this point, we just have a static image in the banner area. But when we look at the completed project, which you can see on this website right here, the completed project doesn't have a static image here. It actually has a rotating effect where the images fade in and fade out. And you can also see that this rotating banner also has this drop down box over towards the right. And this is a very common effect that you're going to see on a lot of different websites. And this is actually called a slider. Now, in order to create this kind of effect, the first thing you need to do is you need to install a piece of software into your website called jQuery. And jQuery is a tool that people use to create these types of interactive features in websites. And we're also going to use jQuery when we set up our photo gallery and our frequently asked questions tool and quite a few other features on our website. So jQuery is going to be something that you're going to be using over and over and over again. Fortunately, once you install jQuery once on your site, it's there. So when you decide to add these other tools, you won't need to reinstall jQuery. So how do we set this up? How do we get jQuery on our site? It's actually very simple. I'm going to go ahead and open a new browser tab here, and I'm going to go to jQuery.com. And their website may look different depending on the time that you're actually watching this video. But somewhere on their homepage, probably right over here prominently featured, is going to be a button that allows you to download jQuery. And that's actually what you're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link right there. It's going to bring me to their download page. Now, there are two different versions of jQuery that you can download: the production version and the development version. The only difference between these versions is that the development version, the code is uncompressed, so you can work with it. Whereas the production version, the code is compressed. And this makes the production version of jQuery just a little bit faster to load. For most websites, 99% of websites that get fairly low traffic, let's say under 1,000 visitors an hour, either one of these will work for you. So it really doesn't matter which one you choose here. The speed factor really only comes in high traffic sites, sites that are getting more than 1,000 visitors an hour. But I am going to select the compressed production version of jQuery because I'm not actually going to modify it at all. So the development version doesn't give me any advantage. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click on that link, and you're going to get a page that looks something like this. And a lot of times when people come to jQuery and they click that link and they get this page, they wonder, okay, what do I do with this code? Do I copy and paste it into my web page? And the answer is you just simply need to save this page into your website. And you can do that by simply right-clicking and selecting Save As. When I do that, I'm going to come to a Save As dialog box, and I just simply need to go find the website that I want to install this on. In this case, it's the Manchester project folder on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And there we can see the JavaScript file, or JavaScript folder, or the JS folder. So I'm going to double click there. The name of the file is right down here. And you can see the name of the file also includes the file name, or the file version. If you ever see a JavaScript file that has the word min in it before JS, that basically stands for minimized, or it's the compressed version of this. Now, I actually like simpler file names, so I'm actually going to rename this just jQuery.js. You could call it anything you want. The only thing that's important is that it ends in .js and that it's in your JS folder. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and I've now saved that file into my site. So I can go ahead and close this window, and now I'm going to go into Dreamweaver. And there's my JavaScript folder. Now, again, sometimes it takes just a minute for Dreamweaver to refresh and for you to see that file. But if it doesn't come up right away, you can always click the refresh button right here. And when I double click on that jQuery.js, you'll see that file, or that code, has now been saved into this file. The next thing that we need to do is we need to link our pages to this jQuery script. Now, since we're using a template for all of these pages, we can just simply modify the template, and that change will be added to all of our pages. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my main template, and here we are. Now, this link to the jQuery script should come fairly high up in the head section of your document. So I'm going to go ahead and right after the head section, I'm going to go ahead and add some space, and I'm going to go ahead and type in the script tag. And after the script tag, I'm going to use the source attribute, or the src attribute. And that allows me to point to an external script file, in this case the jQuery.js. When I select that, you'll see I get the browse button. This should be very familiar to you from adding images or linking style sheets. I'm going to select the browse option, and here I am in my project folder. I just need to find my JS folder and double click on it, and there is my jQuery file. So I'll select that and click OK, and it puts the path to that file into the script tag for me. I need one other attribute in the script tag, and that's the type attribute. And the type attribute we used when we linked to a style sheet earlier. And style sheets are text files that contain CSS. So you can see down here when we did type, text, CSS. But in this case, when we're doing the type attribute, it's still a text file, but instead of being CSS, it's JavaScript. jQuery is basically just a specialized version of JavaScript. After I get the type in, I'm going to go ahead and close my opening script attribute, or my opening script tag, and then I'm going to go ahead and close my script tag. There shouldn't be anything in between your opening tag and your closing tag. And again, the opening tag should have two attributes: the source attribute, which points to the file, and the type attribute, which details what kind of file you actually are linking to. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this file, and it's going to ask me if I want to update the pages that use this template. I do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Update, and then Close. Now, after you've done this, you should be able to look right up here in between the tab for the page and your toolbar. And this area here is called the Related Files area. The Related Files area. And if you actually go to your View menu, you can see Related Files right here as well. But you're going to see we've got source code, which is the actual code for the page we're looking at, in this case the HTML. But we also have jQuery.js and styles.css. And you can very easily click on either one of these options, and you should be able to see the contents of that file. And this allows you to check and make sure that you've actually linked to your files correctly. So clicking on jQuery.js and actually seeing the code here, that tells me that this source attribute was correct. If you were to click on this and it was to give you an error message that says that the file is not on the local disk or the file can't be found, the problem is in your source attribute right here. And to correct that problem, you're just going to highlight that value right there, including the quotation marks, but not including the equal sign. Type a quotation mark and that browse option comes back up. Hit enter or click on it, and then go find jQuery and select it and click OK. And that should correct any problems that you have. And the same thing would also work again for your style sheet, as we mentioned earlier. If you click on styles.css and it wasn't coming up for some reason, it's the href attribute. And it's this value that you'd want to check. So now we have jQuery installed on our site, and we're ready to go ahead and add the script that creates this sliding banner effect. And that's what we're going to go ahead and do in the next video. So I'll see you then.